Happy birthday if it's your birthday, happy belated birthday if it's in the past, happy future birthday if it's in the future. My name is Lon Green, and welcome back! We're finally back to the Out of Time podcast. This is the penultimate episode, actually, and it's really strange to be finally finishing up Ocarina of Time. If you don't know what this is, it's been a while. It's the podcast where I play games I've never played before. This time we're playing Ocarina of Time. Each episode, we're slowly making our way through. I play all the way up to the dungeon, and then I tell you guys what I've experienced so far. You get to hear my first-hand impressions, or whatever. But, it's been a while. I'm still experimenting with this whole thing. Testing out what works, what doesn't work. I want to tell you guys about... I'm trying to figure out how to transition into this. I went and saw a movie, and I want to tell you about it. I'll put a timestamp in the description below, if you want to skip ahead. But I saw a movie called 65. I'll make this really brief, but I really wanted to tell you. It's really strange, and I know, but it's the best way I can describe it in gamer terms is think Pikmin, The Last of Us, and Chrono Trigger, but a movie of all those things put together. The way I would have made it better. I know the trailers. I went into it just thinking. The only thing I saw leading up to the movie was oh, it's an astronaut movie. So I'm like, oh, cool. And it turned out to be like finding dinosaurs in space or something, which was even cooler. But I think they should have just... The trailer should have just been oh, it's an astronaut movie. Don't tell anything more. Because what the whole premise is oh, he's on another planet, and then he's oh, I gotta go on a business trip, and then spoilers for this movie, by the way. If astronaut movies intrigue you, go see this. It's directed by Sam Raimi hoped out in this, apparently, and he's I'm going on a business trip, and then he goes to another planet, and then this is where the Pikmin aspect comes in. His ship gets hit with a barrage of meteors, and then he crash lands, and then he finds out all the people on the ship were killed, and then he's oh geez. And then he realizes, he's on Earth, and the 65 in the movie's title stands for 65 million years ago. But they already told you that, in the first 2 minutes of the film. What's going on, Samuel Raimi? I don't know. They tell you it twice, right when the title drops, and then they tell you again, I don't know. But it was a cool movie. I don't know, I feel like people poo-poo it. I say that it's been out for 40 years. I don't know. Good watch, I guess. I give it B-. Had issues. But let's let's jump into the actual Ocarina of Time. So I wanted to actually I wanted to actually get the other magic abilities that I haven't. So I wanted to get Pharaoh's Wind. So I looked up Pharaoh's Wind, and apparently it's just where Jabu Jabu was. And I thought that was just ocean, so that's why they call it a secret lime green, I guess. You can only use it inside dungeons, which I guess that makes sense. You know, you wouldn't want to overwrite the use of Epona. I thought you could just use it anywhere. And then there's another secret I miss inside the Death Mountain crater, behind the two rocks that need to be smashed with a megaton hammer. You get double magic. Now, here's a rant I just invented out of nowhere, smashing those two boulders. In Pokemon, this is like a weird rant. In Pokemon, Gen 2 specifically, because I'm a big Gen 2 buff. You know how there's like a headbutt tree, and there's a cuttable tree, and there's trees you can't do anything with. In this game, like, there's rocks, but you don't really know which rocks are the bombable rocks, which rocks are the megaton hammer rocks, which rocks are the rocks. It would be cool if there was, I don't know, like, oh, this is the rock, or like I don't know what I want. An indication? Or like, what if it wasn't a rock? Why does it need to be a rock? So then you go to Gerudo Valley, that's the last place. Navi keeps bugging you. I thought you had to fly across the gap with the hover boots. You do not need to do that. You got a long shot, and then the one carpenter guy is like, my carpenter friends have become thieves. You gotta go to the Gerudo Fortress, and then you pretty much immediately get kidnapped and thrown into the thieves' hideout. And then you break out with the long shot. That's like the only way out. It's kind of... I'm gonna always compare this game to Wind Waker, apparently. It's kind of reminiscent of the Forsaken Fortress. And then this carpenter is locked up, and then you get attacked by a Gerudo thief. Like, that kind of surprised me. I thought, you know, the Gerudos were our friends. I thought this was just a misunderstanding. So then I threw bombs at the thief, and they were like, don't take us so lightly. And then they just went whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then you get thrown back in the cell. I'm not really sure what happened there. And then I went back and just hit him with a bunch of Din's Fire, and that worked. And then I saved Ichiro. I found another carpenter, and you know, the same thing happens. The Gerudo thief. And then when I did a magic spin, you know, like the hurricane spin thing, or I did the hurricane spin thing 2-3 times. like the third time, she said that don't take us too lightly. I wrote likely. I don't think they say that. But she said that, and then she threw me back into the prison. I'm not really sure what makes that happen. Maybe it's a time thing? And then I ran out of magic. Then I wrote... I got caught a million times. This place was crazy until I found out a little trick. There's a little trick that you don't expect to work. And then I found another Carpenter Gerudo thief thing, and the jump slash is like their weakness. And I saved a Jiro. There's a room with a big pot, and I was like, Okami vibes. You know, in Okami, there's like a big pot, kind of halfway-ish through the game, you know? And then you get all the way up top, and there's like a piece of a heart, and I have 12 heart pieces by now. They're heart container things. 12 hearts. And then I was like, alright, I'll save. You know, this is a dungeon, so I'll save, you know, turn the game off. And then I got transported back to the Temple of Time. Sorry. Made my way all the way back. And then I was like, trying to long shot my way down to the ground, and I accidentally long shotted one of the guards, and I was like, you can long shot? Or no, what I did was, I was in that room with the two guards walking back and forth, and there was like two pots on the table, and I was trying to see if I could long shot the pots and to make them crack, like explode, and they would go investigate it. And I broke the pots, and that didn't work. They didn't investigate at all, and I accidentally hit one of them, and then I was like, whoa! I never expected you can stun the guards. And then I saved Saburo, and I was like, well, this is a lot easier now that I found out you can stun the guards. Shiro took forever to find. He's like tucked away up top. And then Shiro's like, in order to cross the haunted wasteland, you'll need the Eye of Truth. The Colossus is on the far end of the wasteland. And then this Gerudo comes up to you, and then this Gerudo is like a nameless figure. And she's like, Naburu is the second command to Ganondorf in the Spirit Temple. Here's a Gerudo token. You can enter the Gerudo training ground now. And I'm like, well, thank you, but who are you? Like, how can I thank you? Like, who? What? And then you leave, and you expect, or I expected, you know, that to be the only friendly one. And she just gave me a pass to the Gerudo training ground, but everyone is friendly now. It's like mysteriously friendly. And then I climbed up top, like this tower looking thing, and there are like 2 trials, a river of sand. You can't walk across the river, just follow the flags. And then there's another one, a phantom guide. These eyes, or those eyes that can see the truth, only find themselves returning here. And then I went the other way that I found earlier. There's like a horseback archery range. I wasn't really sure about that. And then, so I traveled into the desert, and Navi's like, if we go in the desert, we might be able to find out where Ganondorf was born. We might be able to find out something. I'm like, I'm up to my knees in like sand, and Navi's like, have we been to the desert? This whole flag puzzle's kind of reminiscent of the Lost Woods, kind of reminiscent of the Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild and Ocarina. I guess more of Ocarina. I was trying to see if it was like Breath of the Wild, where the flags would be like pointing in the right direction where you gotta go. But it's like you just gotta, you know, peer through the sand. So then you just gotta avoid distraction. And then there's like a carpet salesman. He's like floating out over a whirlpool of sand. I jumped towards it. I don't think you can make it. I'm not sure. It's weird. I found this temple-y looking place. It's like over here. But I used all of my magic up to light torches. I thought that's what you're supposed to do, but it just gave me rupees. So I left to go get magic. Came back, and the carpenters fixed the bridge. And then I rode Epona, and I'm like, alright, this is gonna be easy. But I didn't think Epona could go into the sand, into the desert. You know, that's what happens in Breath of the Wild, I'm pretty sure. And I was right. Epona won't go into the sand. And then you make your way up to the temple-y thing. And then you use your lens of truth. And then there's like a little ghost guy, and he's like, you gotta follow me. You gotta keep up. And then you follow him. He leads you on like wild patterns, and enemies come out, and you gotta chase after them. And then you make your way to the Desert Colossus. It's like this big thing. And then you go inside, and it's the Spirit Temple. And now you're in for it. And there's pots just flying at you, but inside the pots are hearts, so it's like you don't really take any damage. That was always funny to me. But this, let me tell you, this temple is goated. It's goated. It's the best, or one of the best. I won't say it's the best. It's one of the best temples. Because let me tell you, you climb up the steps, and then, it's got the Wind Waker explodey statue, guys. But besides that, on one side, it's like I wrote a mouse hole, and then the other side, it's got a wall I can grab, and then in the middle, it's like proceed with the heart of a child. And I'm like, oh boy, that's what I was asking for like a while, like episodes and episodes ago. I'm like, I want to be able to like, well, I said like switch on the fly, like be able to do a temple as like young Link, and then older Link, regular Link, and then I thought that would be a really neat idea, and here it is. And then you go outside, and Sheik's like, The Master Sword is a ship in which you can sail upstream and downstream through Time's river. The port for that ship is the Temple of Time. And then she gives you the Requiem of Spirit. And then you go back, put the sword away, you become young Link, and then you go back, and then you meet up with Neburu, and you just gotta play it cool. You gotta be like, I'm one of Ganondorf's followers, and Neburu is the lone wolf thief. She tells you about a male-born Gerudo that's born every 100 years, and this time it was Ganondorf, and that's like the king of the Gerudos. But she's like, I don't listen to Gerudo or Ganondorf, as he's evil, you know. And she's like, if you can crawl through here and get the silver gauntlets, that'll help me out. And you're like, alright. So you go through there, and you find these you find the weirdest named creature in Zelda. It's called Anubis. So far I was trying to figure out like what this temple was all about, like what its origin is, and I guess it's like Egyptian? I don't know. I thought it was like Middle Eastern? I don't know. It's got like a lot of references. But Anubis is a type of enemy weak to fire, and that's all Navi says. And you gotta like go around this. Well, there's a switch you can step on, and Anubis just like runs away. And what I did is I just didn't fire them all. And I don't know, Anubis is weird to me. An anomaly. Then you go into this room and there's like a bunch of skulltulas hanging around and lizards that drop down from the ceiling. They're probably Zalfos. And then you open up a chest and it's a Bombchu! Bombchu! You finally get Bombchu for the first time. Bombchu were always so expensive. And then there's like a sun on the floor and it's like, show me the light! So you gotta put a Bombchu on the floor and it scurries up and explodes, and then the light comes down and like ignites the sun. And then go into this other room and it's like a big statue, and then you open up the chest and it's a dungeon map, and I was like, whoa, this is a big dungeon. And then there's this room with 3 puzzles. I was like, whoa. You gotta like carefully inch along blocks and get rupees, and then it's like cool. And then there's this thing, what do they call it? Torch thing. I guess torch stick. What are they? Torch holder. So you got to take your stick and light all the torches, and then that like drops down a chest, I think, and then you gotta move a block, and then you gotta move that into the sun. And it's like 3 puzzles in one room. Water Temple will never. And then into the next room. Oh, then I put all while dodging Beamos and Floor Masters. Whoa. In the next room, it's like Iron Knuckle, and it's it's basically, what's his name from Wind Waker? I don't know his name right now. And he's easy. You know, he knocks down the pillars, the Dark Nut, and then you just dodge him, and then, you know, you slash at the back of his armor falls off, and then you go into the next room, and it's our good friend Owlboy, Kapora, and he's like, 2 witches inhabit this temple. In order to destroy them, their own magic must be used against them. Now reading this, that makes sense. Link's like, we gotta give this to Naboru, and then you look down. Oh, I didn't even write what you get. You get like the silver, or the, did I even write? It's like the knuckle things. The silver bracelets, I think. So you get that, and you look down, and Naboru is being dragged into the netherworld by the 2 witches, and that you slide down, and you can like stand directly on the sand where Naboru was dragged down. It's like, whoa. And so you go back to the Temple of Time, put the sword back, or take the sword out, become Adult Link, and then move the block you saw earlier. There's 3 doors. 1 is locked and 2 are barred. And then I was looking around, you know, it's like a little thing on the ceiling. I was like, cool little decoration. And then there's like a little, I think there's like a floor master or something. And then I was like, that's not the thing I have to hit. Well, what you gotta do? Maybe come back here later. I missed something. And then I was like, well, you gotta hit that little thing on the ceiling. I just hit it out of like, well, maybe I gotta hit it. That's what you gotta do. And then next room, you got, there's like boulders rolling around, and you gotta get all the rupees. You clear it. You go in a little room with a chest, and then as soon as you enter, like falls from the ceiling, like they're ready for you. And then next room is like another Anubis room. Pretty much the same thing. They loved Anubis back in the day. And then next room. This is the funnier room. There's 4 Wind Wakery bomb guys. Apparently their name is Armos. I looked it up. And there's a switch and a floor master. It's like, well, what do you do? Every time you get close to these guys, they just move. I'm like, am I supposed to step on it with iron boots? Am I supposed to hit it with your hammer? Am I supposed to come back here later? What am I supposed to do? What is a Link to do? And I was like, well, I can get these guys to stand on it, and then like run really fast to the door. And then I looked it up later. That's what that's what you're supposed to do. That's crazy. That's crazy. You gotta use a Wind Waker bomb guy to step on the button. There's another Iron Knuckle fight. And they got me down to 1.5 hearts, but that was easy because I was already down to like 4. Then you open up the chest, and they give you another item. I was like, yeah, I wish I like had like, I don't know, a face cam or something for that moment, because I was off the wall, on the moon, elated, other joyous words. I could not believe it. You get 2 items, and then you go along. You know exactly what to do with the mirror shield. You're like, you're just reflecting lights and all sorts of things. And then there's a mirror wall. You just go long shot. There's torch slugs. You go. The mimic doors are back, and then you just shoot one of the eyes behind the mimic doors, and then you get boss key. Everything's going out all right. And then there's like a snake mirror puzzle. You turn the lights, you reflect lights, and then it drops you down, and then you reflect another light, and then you turn the big statue's head to dust, and then I was like, ahead of you is like a big boss door, and you put the boss key in. And I was like, alright, I only got 2 hearts, but I'll go ahead. You know, there's gotta be a place to heal ahead. And then the witches are ahead, and they're like, my name is Kumi and Kodaki. And then they're like, get ready for our main event. I'm making this up as I go along. And then they send the Iron Knuckle at another Iron Knuckle, I guess, at you. And then I'm like, oh, this is easy. And then you use the Iron Knuckle to like heal yourself. And then you beat the Iron Knuckle. And then it turns out that the Iron Knuckle turns out to be Nibiru brainwashed this entire time. I was like, what? And then they just like transport Nibiru to like the nightmare dimension, and you go into the next room, and it's like, I was like, is this a maze? What is this? How do I get out of here? And then I climbed up, and I'm like, whoa, this is a boss arena. And then they're like, with my flame, I'll burn him to the bone. And then the other one's like, with my frost, I'll freeze his soul. And then they become Twin Rova. And then apparently they're Ganondorf's surrogate mothers. And what I thought you were supposed to do. Now let me tell you. I thought you were supposed to, like, they're shooting beams. They're like, pew, 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 pew. I thought you were supposed to, like, because they would, like, the one would shoot the fire beam, and it would just, like, burst out all over the floor. I thought you were supposed to take your arrow and, like, scoop up some fire, and then shoot the fire arrow back at the ice one, and then scoop up some ice and then shoot it back at the fire one. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. So I was trying to do that for like a long time until I got down to like 1/4 of a heart. And then I was like, alright, what are you supposed to do? I looked it up, and then you just gotta reflect the beams with your shield. And I'm like, really? Is that it? And then they say, it's time for our double dynamite attack. And then they fuse together. And I don't have a comment for that. No comments. Got this time. And then what you gotta do for this is they shoot the fire beam at you, and then you absorb it into your shield, and then they shoot another fire beam, and then you absorb that, and then they can shoot like an ice one, and then you don't want that one. You gotta move out of the way. You want another fire one, and then it's like a big game of rock, paper, fire, ice, shield. And I lost twice, but I'll say the first time I lost was because I was on the fourth apart, understandable. Second time I lost was because I rushed in there and I didn't want to heal again. I just wanted to try again. And then the third time I did it. Applause in the comments. And then you beat them and they call you a fresh kid. And they became angels with halos. Angels. And they say, we'll come back to haunt you. And they float up. And then Neburu is like, here's the spirit medallion. And then they're like, the 6 sages have been awakened, but the showdown with the King of Evil has come. And then they say, someone is waiting at the Temple of Time. And that's pretty much the entirety of this whole session. So what's going to happen next time? Are we going to get more items? It would be really weird if we got another item. I'm going to say no more items. Just step down my fist. No more. I don't think we're gonna get another item. Maybe the light arrows. Maybe that's what we're getting. We're getting the fire ice arrows. And light. It's gonna be like Wind Waker, where we get all 3. But do we just go to Ganondorf's? Like, the person at the Temple of Time, it's gonna be Sheik. But is it from now until the end of the game just Ganondorf's castle? That's the big question. I think there might be like one thing. That's the question of the day. What's next? Leave your predictions for this like 20-year game in the comments below, and we'll see you for probably the finale. See it, and let me know. Let me know what you think of 65, the sequel to Super Mario 64, in the comments below, and see you next time. Bye bye.